feel like we have a generational gap. So when I was in the 80s, when I came in this country, actually, you will get hello in the morning, oh, hi, and stuff like that. It's not that anymore. We feel it's just like we are becoming divided, or we're not saying hello to each other, even the younger to the old and old to the young. Do you think we are in that position of that we don't have a role model anymore?
I think the British people, you can't just characterize from London, because there are different societies. There's the rural, more countryside, the smaller towns. They have a lot more time for each other. In London, it's very jam-packed, and there's a lot of people from many different backgrounds, and there's a lot to learn from each other. But it takes time for people to relate more deeply. I found myself, British character is a little reserved, but in time it breaks through. When my parents moved to the countryside, it took 8 or 9 years before their neighbours and the community warmed to them and started inviting them to their houses. And that's a very mostly white kind of community, but UK is like that, and the English character is like that. But I think underlying, it hasn't changed. I don't think it's changed so much.
I mean, you guys are example, because you are working towards unity, you are working for peace. You know, you guys are example to our younger people who are watching now, because what they see, what we do, and actually they will copy. Because you will see it and they'll think, oh, I could do that. You know, that's cool. So I'm going to go to James. He's looking at me. He is my neighbor, actually. And so, James, do you think, is there any issue of we don't say hello in the morning or salam or whatever, greetings we don't share anymore?
I don't know about whether things have actually changed or not, like just as Robin was saying, but I think there are those issues, and I think there's a lot of reasons behind it, perhaps. I think sometimes there's fear of either, especially when there's within a community different cultures, of a fear of saying something wrong to a different culture or upsetting them. You know, lots of our neighbours would love to invite other neighbours into their homes, but they're worried about, oh, what if I serve them the wrong food or say the wrong thing? So I think there's that desire often, but there's a bigger fear of perhaps doing the wrong thing. And like Sheikh Ramzi was saying, of getting past that, just saying hello and starting to break that down. And in the block that I live in, I often see that our neighbours, as soon as they start talking, then it very quickly disappears. And I think the generational difference as well of trying to reclaim some of the communal spaces that we live in. There's in the block we live in, there's a sort of a small park in front of us, trying to reclaim that for all the generations, of having sort of playing down there with our young children, and then often when I'm down there with my children, some other fathers come down, and conversations start to happen between different generations, just because the spaces are being used for the community and for different sectors of society, and just so trying to reclaim some of those places in our communities and our societies back for what they originally intended.
Did you find it difficult when you moved in near Watchapur? Did you find it difficult to communicate with people, your neighbours?
I don't think it's difficult. I think it took persistence. I think we moved into our block with a desire to really meet our neighbours, and so going around and introducing ourselves. In our block at the moment, there's quite a few sort of younger, sort of 20s, 30s people from lots of different nations around the earth. And the problem is that they tend to be in our block for a much shorter time, maybe 6 months, a year, before they go move somewhere else or, you know, get a different job. Whereas a previous block that we lived in, which was mostly Bangladeshi families who'd been there 10, 15 plus years. And in that block, there was a much greater sense of community, of looking after each other, because people knew each other. So I think in the area I live, sort of in Whitechapel, there is that sort of change of society as well, where people don't have the time